Yes, that's right. We are early. No, I'm just kidding. We're just right on time with your coverage of Below Deck episodes 14 and 15. That's right. We were out in Chicago. We met many of you, so we're doubling up, and here we are. I am your captain with three stripes, of course. Sasha Joseph, joined with my co-host, our co-captain with several stripes. Chappell is here. How are you? We're back together.
Sasha, you are strong. You are smart. Your positivity is contagious. Oh no, those are notes for me. Never mind. That's me. That's me talking to me. I am smart. I am strong. My positivity is contagious. Sasha, we back. And I had a great time with you last week. It's
I
always
know.
good when we see each other in person, but we also saw the peanut gallery. It was a party.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, if you don't know what we're talking about, of course, we're part of a network called RHAP has a podcast, and we do live shows, not Below Deck, but The Survivor. We don't want to disappoint Daddy, so we had to be there
Mhm.
and have fun with all of you. So, if we met you in Chicago, it was so nice to see you. And listen, that shots we were taking with y'all, it too much. Okay.
Uh, there was a lot of shots. There was a lot of
Yes.
shots. Um, personally, I don't really enjoy turning down shots, so I have to do what I have to do. If you buy me a shot, we have to drink it.
Yes.
But some people were buying. It was just a lot. It was a lot. So at some point, we other people taking shots. There were people who had never even heard our podcast before. We're like, wait, I'll talk about Below Deck, and y'all have this much fun. I'm going to listen to it now. So we'll probably have some new listeners after Chicago as well.
Listen, as always, okay, it's like we just go to renew our friendship and then we meet all of you. It works out. All right. So we're so
Mhm.
excited. We have 2 episodes to get through. And yes, gotta go pack. Listen, this is funny that they said they were thinking we were talking Martha's Vineyard. Listen, everyone, if you didn't already know, Chappelle is fully becoming our Bravo girly. And Chappelle and I do cover Summer House Martha's Vineyard over on Recap Kickback. So check that out as well. We do both. Okay, we do both.
Yes, and it's so much fun. I'm loving the Bravo content. I'm thinking I could get and start tiptoeing into some more Bravo stuff. Maybe just we'll
Yes,
start our own little Bravo universe between me and Sasha. But there's a lot. There's a lot to catch up with.
yes.
Even these 2 episodes of Below Deck. I'm like, man, that's 2 hours of television I gotta watch. Because we weren't able to do last week due to the traveling. Then Martha's Vineyard, I gotta watch that. I'm like, what if I got to get into the housewives at some point? Man, there's a lot of television, Sasha, but you are the perfect guide because you know it all.
I listen, I watch a lot of TV, I guess. I don't know what else to say. But just funny because we both also be outside. So
Hmm.
listen, we do it all. I love us. And listen, Kev said come to Atlanta when?
Right. Say the time and place. We got it. We'll be there because I'm down. There's a lot of Survivor people in Atlanta. I've never really got to go and just kick it in Atlanta the way I want to. Like I just want to go and like see
Same.
the
I only
city
go
and all
there for
kinds of
work.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Same. And so like now I'm thinking maybe a little live show. Maybe look, let's talk to Daddy. Let's talk to Rob and see what we can make happen. That would be fun.
Listen, when I meet Scrappy in
Yeah. Oh
Atlanta,
yeah. Because he's coming. Obviously, he's gonna come to the live show.
I'm gonna buy a cameo just to be like, come to this theater.
Just you ain't gotta go inside. Just meet me outside. And like
How
we'll say
about
hi,
that?
all
Yeah.
that good stuff. Yeah.
Me, Bryce, you, and Scrappy.
The way Karthik is gonna disown you if you take a picture with Scrappy without him. Oh, he's coming to Atlanta.
No, it'd be curtains. Listen. And then we're gonna go meet Nene and Candy. The thing is, all Atlanta reality shows, I believe, is number one. So
Hmm.
I can't wait. All right. We gotta make it. And yes, and then we'll get our peaches. I love it.
Yes.
We
I
need.
need a peach.
But yes, I think let's get into it. These 2 episodes were really fun. We have a lot of romance to talk about. Um, but I think we should start with no man's, which is
Mm.
Ben and Sunny.
How do you feel? Okay, we have given Sunny her lashes several times over this season. We've told
Mhm.
Sunny, don't make us tell you again. You are not in love with this man. Y'all are not in a relationship. Stop trying to make this thing happen. He's not being nice to you. He's making you look dumb. We've talked to her. Sasha, there's a moment where she ends up back kissing Ben again. I'm thinking, oh gosh, she learned nothing. But by the end of the second episode, it sounds like maybe it's starting to sink in that you can have a good time without it being so, so official and personal. It feels like she's disconnecting, but I just don't believe it.
Listen, there's a lot of like your mouth is saying one thing, but your body is doing something else. Like that's what it was giving. Where I'm over her. Like I don't even care at this point. Where I'm just like, cool, live your life, queen. If that's what you want to do, I truly don't care. I find it to be pathetic because Ben is like every moment he gets to stray, he's straying, right? Like
Mhm.
hot charter guest, oh my gosh, we're in trouble. What are you gonna do? You literally will
Right.
get fired. What are you gonna do? Nothing. There's one
Mhm.
charter left. I think she's bored. And just tell us that and tell him that so that he gets
Mhm.
mad. Because the thing is, he is a loser who got dumped, sorry, by Camille. So that's why
Mhm.
he's back to you. And imagine, Chappelle, if someone says, oh, who would have thought distance makes the heart grow fonder?
Yeah, no, that was one of those lines where I was like, "Ben, you dirty dog, why are you doing this?" Because he said, "Hey, maybe we should just maybe I just need a little space from you. Now we can still kiss and all that stuff. We can still have sex, but I don't want you to actually spend time with me or think that we have a real relationship because we do
Hmm.
not." And Sunny looked at it. She tells us, "I'm looking at the red flags. But if I choose to ignore them, that's on me." And to that, I say, fine, you got it. Go
Yep.
do you if that's what you want. As long as you remember that one, we told you, everybody warned you, and then two, don't catch feelings. The problem is at the beginning of the season, y'all had fun, and the next episode, you're like, I don't like this, I don't like that. Drunk me is coming out and saying these things, and when I drink tequila, all this stuff. So we're thinking, okay, obviously we need to talk to Sunny. We need to reel her back in because she didn't caught feelings. If you're not catching feelings and it's just fun, y'all doing a physical thing, cool. But also, don't be on these episodes telling us, well, it's really hard to work now that my boss and I are kind of broken up. Da, 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 da. You're messing up stuff. You have to be able to keep these things separate. Everybody's not able. Sonny, if that's not for you, it ain't for you. Leave it alone. But she's trying to convince us that she
But
can do this.
But here's the thing, right? Fine. Allegedly, she can do it. She can keep it separate. And then in the next episode, episode 15, they're working. And then he said,
Mhm.
I'm horny. And then they go to this place called the Last Head. And I don't think that's the only head that was in that room.
It was some head involved for sure. And but ma'am, you're on the clock. You know what I'm saying? Like that now it's getting messy.
That's
Again,
so horrible.
Sasha, if she can separate the two, right? If she can do that, go on about her day, fine. But I don't want to hear nothing about Sunny being heartbroken. I don't want to hear nothing about this being inappropriate for work because it was already inappropriate for work. I don't want to hear none of that stuff. You've chosen your lot in life. This is your red wagon. You better pull it. You could tap out of this. You don't have to be like this. I don't know if she's trying to prove it to us or if she really has gotten to the point where she's just like, no, he's just a warm body and I'm okay with that. I just don't know if I believe her.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, you're saying a lot of things, but every time he's like, does a little eyebrows or says, hey, it's curtains. You're folding like a lawn chair.
And it's clear you have the upper hand too, Sonny. You have the power and you're relinquishing it to this man. There's a moment where Sonny's talking to Chef Nick, and all of a sudden, here comes Ben, who we hadn't seen talking to Sunny pretty much at all the entire episode.
Mhm.
He pops up and he's like, "Oh hey," and he's like kissing on her neck and stuff. And she says, "I'm confused. What's happening?" He's like, "Don't be confused. Open your eyes. Pay attention. The man is trying to mark his territory. He's jealous. You have him where you want him." And she just folded like a towel.
No, listen, he just wants to pee in the feet. That's what it is. There is nothing, to like dissect. There isn't this like
Mhm.
thesis you want to write. He's an F boy. He wants to F you. And that
Right.
is it. And he thought he could have you on call for a moment because I think in the morning, right? Like he said good morning and she's like, we're not even looking at him, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
He's like, ooh, I like that. I want the chase. I want the chase. And immediately he just like one touch, one whatever it's curtains. And she is so embarrassing. Like, it's just, I don't even care. I hate to talk about women like that. So I'm just like, you're not even worth my time.
I'm trying to give her more credit. I'm trying to be like, listen, she's understands. She sees it. She's using him just as much as he's using her. But I just can't believe it all the way because we've seen how she acts when she doesn't get her way, when there's other women involved, when it comes to him. And if that's not okay, Sonny, you don't have to live like this. You really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to do this. You could easily say, I'm out. I'm done with this. I don't need this. And I think the other thing that bothers us, Sasha, is that we see how he talks about her behind her back.
Yes, that's
See the
true.
confessionals. So
Yeah.
we see him like talking about her like, so what? I mean, God, why is she obsessed with me? Oh my God. Like, I'm just trying to be with Camille. Like that, the spark isn't there. I'm not into her like that. Blah, blah, blah. And then we turn around and we see her like, well, I guess I'll just hang out with him some more. We're like, girl, you wait till you watch the season back. You're gonna be so mad, and then you're gonna listen to this podcast and you're gonna hear us trying to warn you the whole time.
We're
So
shaking her.
yeah,
Like,
just wake up.
Wake up.
Your
Stand
girl
up.
down.
God, no, embarrassingly, we're under the jail. And Lolly says this is true, right? The little back touches that make women weak in the knees. You know what? Stand up. It don't matter. Okay? It just doesn't.
You gotta be strong. You gotta be strong. Listen, you got into the ring with an F-boy. There are things that will happen at that point, and you got to go in. You got to come correct. You got to know the back touches are going to happen, the good morning texts are going to happen, all that kind of stuff. Because we'll see this same gameplay by other people, and it works for them too. But if you go into it knowing that you're with somebody who is unavailable emotionally, then you got your guard up. You're ready for these things. You're expecting these punches. I just don't think. I think she's out of her league, man. I think she got in her. I don't think. I'm trying, Sonny. The people are against you, but I'll get behind me. I'm saving you. I promise. You got this. Hold tough. One episode left. One charter left.
Oh my God. It's just like, save me, God. But it
Yeah.
won't. No one is. Here I am.
No.
Also, when Lolly said no touching on the clock, that is not what I read. And I was like, well, that too. We don't want that. But
well, they definitely were touching on the clock. And that's
clock.
Yeah, but that's also
yes.
That's also it's very inappropriate. You know, like, don't get me
wrong. So wrong.
Yeah, they work together, fine. If they want to be inappropriate together, there's some HR issues there for sure. But the coworkers, you know, we don't really get everybody else's perspective of this, but it's awkward. I don't care. It's awkward when you're out here doing like boyfriend, girlfriend stuff at work. Save that for your own time. Nobody comes here to see you, you know, all up under each other, sneaking in and out of rooms, tucking your shirt in when you walk out. Like, bro, that's like, dog, we didn't sign up for that. That's all I'm saying.
And it's just icky. You know what I mean? It's all like, oh, you're messy, funny. Like, I'm just like, you're a loser. Cool.
Right. Cut it out.
Yeah, and I don't care about these two. That's why I was like, let's just finish it. But then speaking of the other couple that's in love, question mark. And of course, not talking about Barbie and Kyle. No, I'm just kidding. I am. I was gonna do.
We're about to get real. Oh yeah, I saw where you were going, and then where you pivoted. I was like, oh, we doing that. Because I have some comments about those text messages.
I know. Okay, let's do Barbie and Kyle. And also, just so we know, on episode 15's Watch What Happens Live, Paris and Barbie were on. So it was cool. It was all below deck. And Chappell, they had some podcasters on the Watch What Happens Live, like bartender. So I said, how? We would be so great.
We would be so great. First of all, I'm taking shots with everybody. Like, the bartender needs to be taking the shots with you.
Shots key. That's the thing on Watch What Happens Live.
Look, tag me in. How do we get on? Let's start a petition here for the Peanut Galley. We're gonna make this happen. We got to make this happen. It's on my bucket list now. Watch what happens for me and you. We got it.
Please, okay? And yes, Gotta Go Back says this in the chat too, but Barbie's parents were in the audience. So I feel like I'm just going to lead with that because that renders a little bit of stuff mute, but it's fine. I think it's really funny. So, of course, before we even start the episode, Andy was like, Dad, how are you? What's going on? And Dad was cool as a cucumber. He said she did not embarrass me. I am so proud of her. Because Andy was like, did she besmirch the name, basically? And she's like, no. She didn't do anything to ruin the family name. He's very proud of how much she cared about his opinion. Like that was really great. And next thing is he also said, I like how hard she worked. So I feel like it
Mm.
was a little shady to everyone else. And I love that for us.
So here's my question. Is
Mm-hmm.
this his natural reaction, or is this weeks of mom being like, hey, chill, it's okay? Because Barbie was making it seem like dad's not gonna go for this at all. He's not gonna like Kyle. He's definitely not gonna like this. And I can tell you right now, my mom would definitely get on the TV and lie and just be like,
Yeah,
no, everything's fine. I love this.
100%.
This is cool. I'm the cool mom. And then the moment the cameras go down, she's like, don't you ever do that to me again. So I don't know. I feel like from what I learned from Barbie, I think her dad might have taken a couple weeks to get him to this point, you know?
Oh, 1,000,000%. So she said that she did. One of the fan questions, which Lolly is right, Jacob Jones was a virtual fan once.
Mm.
Jacob, teach us, okay?
Put us down.
Please. So anyway, so one of the virtual fan questions was, why did you go on the show if you knew, right, like what's going on? So Barbie said she did sit her dad down and said like, hey, this is what happens, but I won't do that. And then she said,
Mm.
but I couldn't stand true to my like whatever morals or so standards.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, it's giving Duggar. Because in Duggars, they'll be like, these are the standards we've set for ourselves, and da da da. And I'm just like, okay, I don't like stop. So that's what it was giving. But I
Mm.
agree with you. I did talk to I was watching this with my mom, and I was like, what would you do? And
Mhm.
she was like, you just wouldn't do that, Sasha. You just wouldn't.
See,
Like
she
she
can't even believe
refused.
it.
No,
Yeah,
and
she
I
was like,
said,
no.
that's not our culture.
See, but that's the same thing Barbie told us. She's like, I'm Argentinian. We were very conservative. It's not my
Mhm.
culture. But sometimes it do be your culture, you know, and you just don't know it yet. You know, like in the past, it wasn't your culture, but sometimes people evolve, you know. And so I'm telling you, I think dad got some coaching. I think they were like, look, the cameras are going to be on. They'll ask you this question. They probably talked about it backstage. We're
Oh,
going to throw
very.
one question we're going to throw one question to you, dad. You good? Oh, I'm good. He talked about it. He practiced it in the mirror. And then the moment he got into the car to go home, it was like, all right, never talk to me about this again. You're not going to be on Below Deck Med.
Yeah.
You're not going to be on Down Under. You're like, they're shutting this down. Like I highly doubt we get a Barbie in the future if dad has
That would
anything to
be
say about it.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So, okay, so if we never see Barbie again, everyone in the chat, because Lindsay even said, right, like, yeah, I think her family's very private, and keep
Mhm.
outward appearances. Yeah, it's giving immigrants. We get it.
Yeah.
We're all like this.
And Matt in the chat points out that he was cool as a cucumber on camera, but off camera he turned into my granny. And after she got the unlucky bingo, like if you know anything about my grandma, she don't play around. She does not play. Miss Torchy does not play around. They call her Torchy because she's hot. And she would definitely. My granny would be cool about this though. She's not conservative like that. My granny's super. She's like me. Me and my grandma are like the same. Now, my mother and my father, that's a different issue. But my granny, she'd be like, oh no, it was fine. This is fine. Everything's good. Nobody got hurt. But I would have to be hiding behind her to stay away from my mom. You
Correct.
get it? You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah,
would.
my stepdad would, I think, save me. He'd be like, listen, it's okay. Like, this is TV. She's
Mhm.
American, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, my mom is like filling out boarding school applications.
Right. She's like, how do I get you back to India now?
Yeah, period. Okay. See, and Kev is correct, and that Kev says love is everyone's culture. It's all we are. It's where we all came from. See, tell that to 1 billion plus Indians with zero sex education.
You don't get me started. Yeah, well, here's the thing too. The word love is really what I want to flag up because sure, I understand Barbie not wanting to see her family having casual
Mhm.
sex and stuff like that. Fine.
Ooh.
But how did we end up at the end of this episode? Like, I think I'm falling in love with him. I could be falling in love with. I was like, love? When did love get here? Are we doing this for real? Is this love?
Like,
Okay.
love the love that I know. Love. See,
Right.
this is the problem with
Love.
English, right? Like, there's only one word for love.
Yes. Lolly
Where
in the chat says love or love. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like love.
Yeah, it's just I feel like in Hindi, there's like 10 different ways, right, to say the word love, which means different variations of like passion and different variations of like connection. So then if
Mhm.
someone says like X, you'll be like, "Oh, okay, this is like love, like
Levels.
we're
Yeah.
friends." And yeah, versus like love, love.
Right.
So, I don't know. But yeah, gotta go back to Sunny and Barbie have lost their minds. Correct. Kyle has too, because Kyle says, I think I'm falling in love with her. They've both have like said this now. And
Yeah.
sorry to break everyone's bubble, but they are not together.
That does not mean they're not in love. That
Yes.
is
Okay, you're so toxic.
okay. Well, here's how I've been looking at it. On the one hand, I understand Kyle being in love with Barbie. Like that makes sense to
Mhm.
me.
Yes,
She's different. He likes it. She's a
yeah.
little bossy. He kind of likes that too. I can hear and understand this. This makes sense to me. Okay, I'm like, all right, Kyle, I get it. But Barbie, this whole episode, these last 2, 3 episodes, it's just been Kyle's so different and not in the same way. Like Kyle's so different. He's not what I'm used to. He's not what I'm looking for. He can't provide for me. I want to be
Mhm.
very conservative. He's flashing his thing everywhere in a kilt and blah
Which is
blah blah.
crazy. Like,
Right,
I actually would never hook up with
right.
Kyle
So
again.
she's saying, "Yeah, I want to be in love with you, but I also want you to change to match
Yes.
what I want in
Yes.
a person." Whereas Kyle is saying, "I'll change for you." I'll change for you. That love makes sense to me because if you want to change for somebody, you will. But
Yes.
wanting someone else to change for you, that's not how this works. You cannot be like, I think I'm falling in love with you if you do XYZ. These 9 different things, right? If you stop
Mhm.
wearing a kilt, which is part of your culture, but stop wearing a kilt, stop being loose, stop flashing, stop being so buck wild all the time. Like she basically said, Kyle, if you weren't you, I would be in love with you.
And
Okay.
Jewish, which is crazy.
And you know what I'm saying? So like she's converting, she probably looking at him like, and then I would expect you to convert. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Imagine. Oh, no.
but that's what I'm saying. And right now he's kind of in that puppy dog stage of like, oh yeah, whatever. I don't have to flash people. I don't have to do that. If you don't want me to do that anymore, fine. It's all good. But in reality, expecting somebody to change for you so that you can be in love with them it's a losing formula. It really is. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
when
we
they
never
started dropping
ask
the L word,
boys to change for us girls. They will
don't
not.
do it. If they
They
want to
just won't.
change, they will. If you'll just look up
Yes.
one day and you'll see a different person, and you'll be like,
Correct.
"What? I didn't know you were like this. Everybody
Correct.
told me you sucked." And you're like, "But with me, you're so different." It's like, yeah, because that person really likes you. Now, if they ever don't like you as much, they're gonna go back to being the old them. But watching Colin Barbie move was frustrating to me because I was thinking, just end it now, because y'all like trying to catch feelings for something that you know is not going to work out. She's like, you cannot provide the future for me that I would like. That's like she basically
Like,
called him
she
broke.
doesn't need to work. Do y'all understand? She said, "I got Cartier bracelets coming out the wazoo." One of the things, Chappelle, they talked about on Watch What Happens Live, they did, like, a game where they would say, "Would you rather do, insert unpleasant thing or have Kyle
Mhm.
flash?" Okay? And she said almost every time the unpleasant thing, like, have Fraser be mad at you, take care of Zandy, drunk Zandy, right, for hours, like,
Mhm.
all this kind of stuff. And then there was only 3 times she said she would rather Kyle flash, and that is number 1, where did it oh my gosh, I lost it. Uh, oh, boo. I lost it. Anyway, okay, the number 1 was the Cartier bracelet or,
Mhm.
Kyle flash. So she said, "Okay, yeah, Kyle can flash because I don't wanna lose the bracelet." And then second is have Captain Carey be mad at you. Of
She
course, she
doesn't want
said,
to lose
"No,
her
Kyle."
job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Kyle, I love him too much. He can be mad. Uh, he can't be mad, sorry. And then, yes, and she loved Jill Zarin. So she was like, "Of course, I take Jill Zarin over Kyle flashing."
Mhm.
All this kind of stuff. So I just thought that was really funny that she's picking almost every time the unpleasant quote unquote thing to do over
Right.
him flashing. Like, that's how against this she is.
And it's not like Kyle flashed somebody one time, and so that's an easy behavior to stop. I've seen Kyle naked more times this season than I've seen me naked. Like I
Correct.
literally every episode, the man is naked every episode. So to be
And like
like,
full
I
on
love you.
like crack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh, okay.
Front, back, all that good stuff. You see it all. And I'm just like, Barbie, you now want him to, you're like, I'm in love with you, but you cannot do the very thing that I've been watching you do this entire season. And my dad's not going to approve of the way you've been acting. So why are you trying to force this? Just let it go. It's okay to like somebody and to not be with them. It very much is.
Mhm.
So I know, Sasha, you've given us the update that they're not together. Did they try to give it a shot? Do we have any like
She
information
didn't
about that?
say anything. She was like, "Oh, we're not, together," because Andy did ask, so and I think she did say, like, "Oh, we're too different," like, over and over again. So, here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with, like, dating someone that, can afford the lifestyle you want because you should be able to afford the lifestyle you want. But
Mhm.
if you are that person that wants to, have their significant other provide for them, this is not the person. And this is not the industry unless you want to meet like one of the guests.
Right, right. Oh, and gotta go pack. You're on fire today. In the
Yeah.
chat brings up the scene where Kyle actually FaceTimes or gets on the FaceTime call with Barbie and her mom. So he walks up, he's got his hands all over her, and he
Yeah.
immediately tells his mom, like her mom, that he's hungover. Now, mom is a sex therapist, right? So she's a little bit more chill. But listen,
But
I have
respect.
met I've met a ton of parents. I would rather lie to a parent and tell them I don't drink at all than to
Yes,
come on and say
correct.
I'm hungover. I was smoking. Da 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 da. Like I'm not. What I've sat across from people that I've partied with for like through college, and then at their graduation, I'm sitting there in a shirt and tie on my best behavior. Or, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. All this other stuff, and everyone's looking at me like, "Why are you acting like this?" I was like, "Do you
Mhm.
not see an adult? As if I'm not an adult, but do you
No, but
not
we
see an
aren't.
elder? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But don't you not, the just level, the baseline level of respect that I've been instilled when I'm meeting
Mhm.
new people or elders, I'm always like, really trying to be on my best behavior. So to just kind of flippantly throw like I'm hungover, that's for the cool mom. You trying to win this girl's heart. Ain't no such thing as cool mom. You have to be square. You have to come in, be buttoned
And
up. I don't care
just
if
be a
mom
little
asks you
bit
yourself.
respectful, right? Like,
Yes.
I think there's a way to be like, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather.
Right. Pull yourself together. Exactly. Like you can be hungover, but you don't have to advertise that because being hungover
Yes.
makes it sound like not only were you drinking, but you also didn't know your limit, right? You got too drunk. Um, a lot of people, you can get drunk without getting hungover. There's
Mhm.
another level to that where you end up with the hangover. And it's like, why were you so drunk the night before you had to go to work, you
Correct.
know? And so, yeah, I was like, dang, Kyle, I'm rooting for you, but you got to tighten it
Yeah.
up. This ain't it.
No, seriously, it's just like, and yeah, Matt says in the chat too. I cringe at the FaceTime all over. It was so cringe, and I'm just like, there's no reason, to act that way. And again, even if she's quote unquote not conservative, it doesn't matter. It's just
Mhm.
there is a baseline of how you need to act with somebody's parents that you allegedly are falling in love with, and this ain't it. And Michael says, "Mom said he was lovely." My mom would say that too, to the camera, and
Yeah.
then later on be like, "Are you what's going on? Did
Right.
I
Like,
raise this person?"
right. On a serious note, it's like, yes, he seems nice, but also like, let's be very clear. That's not the type of energy that you know, like my mama would definitely just be point blank. I mean, I'm talking about off camera, point blank, just like, hey, what is this? Or what are you doing? You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like, are you okay? Is this, are you good? This is what you bring to the table? Like, do you need to help? Like, do you need to join a dating website? Like, how did you find this woman?
Mhm.
So yeah, my mom, she's very like, hey, what are we doing here? And so yeah, because you gotta coach up your significant other to meet your parent.
Yes.
You gotta talk to them like Kevin Durant in that GIF, like he's like
Yeah, with
whispering in it. Yeah,
Draymond.
yeah, exactly. Like, all right, listen, dad doesn't like XYZ, mom doesn't like XYZ. They're gonna pretend like they do. They're gonna act like they're the coolest people in the world. They're gonna tell you to call them by their first name. Don't do it. Always, Mr. Such and such, Mrs. Such and such, like every time. Don't worry about it. You just gotta do better. Keep it tight, Kyle. This is
Yeah.
exactly why y'all not together now. You drop
That
the
part.
ball.
Okay, it's embarrassing, and whatever, it's fine. We knew this wasn't gonna last anyway. Low key in my heart, I was like, "Is he, like, doing this on purpose because he doesn't wanna be with her?"
Mm,
So, who know maybe not. I'll let it go, but we shall see. And for now, I mean, we have a few more charters and a few more weeks for this love story, and then it'll fizzle out. So it's fine. I'm
yeah.
sure they'll do like some Instagram posts, like being like a more not a moratorium, but like a eulogy. eulogizing whatever
Mm-hmm.
happens. So we'll see. Can't wait. And of course, now the other love story. Oh my god, let's talk about Fraser and his husband, Steve.
Yes, this is fun. I like
Yeah.
this is fun. This is
Mhm.
this is the most because this was a bad 2 episodes for Fraser for me. Okay, let's be
Yes.
very clear.
No.
Like on my scale, I'm like, hey, you're not doing great. You're not doing great. But this part is
Mhm.
fun. This part is fun. Steven has already identified that he thinks Fraser's attractive, vice versa. They start
Mhm.
hinting at, oh, well, that's your husband. That's your boyfriend. Oh, y'all should kiss at the New Year's party. Y'all should kiss. You gotta kiss. And Fraser, I think, handles this pretty well. He does his little flirting, but he goes back and he asks Captain Carey, hey, Captain Carey, just throwing it out there, hypothetically speaking, what if a guest wanted to kiss one of the staff while for the midnight kiss, right? And Captain Carey's like, well, I think that would be harassment. Like you can't just go kissing on people who
That's
work
an
here.
HR issue.
Yeah, and Fraser was like, okay, I hear you. Comma, but what if that staff person wants it? What if they are good with that?
It's
He's like, okay, well,
consensual,
right. He's like, okay, well, if it's just a kiss, it's all good.
which is
So I
crazy.
was,
I don't think I would allow.
it's like the New Year's theme. So I
Oh,
understand why he would allow it. It wasn't just like okay,
vibes
the
only.
person wanted just
Yeah.
a regular kiss. Yeah, it was like okay, it's a part of the thing. Obviously, there's not a lot of representation for that person to kiss on
Oh,
the boat
that's true.
anyway. So it's
Okay.
kind of like okay, Fraser, have your fun because Fraser has to watch all the rest of his castmates hooking up all season anyway, right? So if I'm Captain Carey, I throw him a bone. I thought this was really cool for Captain Carey.
Yeah. Also, Lolly says essential for the tip. I died.
Which tip?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, clock. That's that tip. And yeah, Anna also says, right, it wasn't the best couple of episodes of Frasier, but also isn't helped by Captain Carey's Captain Sandy type tendencies coming out toward the end, which we'll get into because yeah, I have many feelings for that. But I do think that Frasier needed the win. Mommy needed to be happy, so we got to just let
Mm-hmm.
him have it. If I am not Frasier's boss, I am so pushing this. Like you don't
Yeah.
understand. Well, actually, you do.
I do. I get it. I know you. I know you well enough to know that Sasha was like, okay, but when he leaves the boat, he's no longer a charter guest. Thus,
How do we make this happen?
right? Because that's the
The
real update we want to know. We
Yes.
want to know, okay, did this lead to anything, Fraser? Come on the podcast, talk to us.
Cause he's smelling the shirt and he's like, Zandy, you bitch. Like, don't, smell my man shirt. He's walking around with it. Like they're
He
back
was
and forth.
wearing his
He's
shirt, Sasha.
down bad.
Down. It was so middle school. Like, oh, it's just his Letterman jacket. I was
And
like,
literally,
okay.
that's all I can think of. The hoodie you stole.
Dog, bro, the flashbacks that are coming to mind right now. But Sasha, we didn't talk about the late night text messages that were coming in Fraser's way
Let's
either,
do
though.
this. I
Yeah,
highlighted them. Yeah.
I bet you did.
Listen, this is what I come for. Okay. I
Mhm.
love a good like undercover romp. So of course, Frasier's like, listen, I'm gonna give my husband a kiss, right? And then he kisses Steven, and it's a whole little New Year's thing, which is great. I before I was married at least, was not really doing New Year's kisses or not getting them, and it's a very sad boo. But then it's a fun little thing. I hope everyone gets them. Doesn't have to be someone you think is your husband. And then it was really funny because he says, well, I was hoping for a little bit more to Barbie, who we just threatened to fire because she was making too much fun of them. And goes, they're now texting, and Fraser gets a text from Steven. So Fraser up, baby. That's what I'm saying. And says, really sleeping in your room, or is that a hard no? Steven, chill out.
No, Steven, do your thing. This is what
Yeah.
you should be doing, Steven. Shoot your shot.
And then Fraser goes, listen, very unfortunately, it's a fireable offense, sir. When they say sir or ma'am, you're in.
Flirting,
You're
flirting,
in, babe.
flirting. I was like, ding, 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 Stevie, we have a winner. He hit her with the comma, sir. I said,
You're in.
Fraser, you You slut. Did you see the sir? That's like an emoji egg, like that's like an eggplant. You
Yeah, you
can't
might
tell
as well
the
put the peach and eggplants
right. Cause
and
I
the
said,
tongue.
man, and then the oldest trick in the book. I've been packed up by stuff like this plenty of the good night handsome. Handsome. You gonna hey handsome this man?
Nighty night, handsome. Sleep well.
Handsome.
It's
Fraser,
over.
you just met this man. Calm down. It
It's
got, I said,
cringe.
this is hot.
And it just texts about how we can't sleep in the same room. But listen, a forbidden romance, we love it.
Yeah, but that's like OG dirty, like just macking. Oh, okay,
Regency
sir.
era. Speaking of Bridgerton coming out tomorrow. Listen.
Like from the first text message ever sent had a comma sir in it. That was good. That was a good move for Fraser. The next morning they're all like awkwardly walking
Yep.
around, kind of like, oh, I guess I'll give you your jacket back, blah blah blah.
Oh, look
But
at Lolly is wild. You eat with your eyes first. Stop this, Lolly.
that part. So yeah, the text messages lead to them saying, well, Fraser, just invite him out to the bar we're going to. And that even pays off for Fraser. Fraser was on a roll. He was on a roll when it comes to Steven.
Yeah, it reminds me of Kyle, and what's his name? Oh my god, I forgot that guy's name. But anyway, same thing happened with Kyle, and Frank, that's what it was. He used to just be like, "Frank, I miss Frank," and we really thought they'd get married. They did not, in fact, get married, unfortunately. But either way, that's all I could think of. Oh yeah, and Anna talks about how it was giving, Anna talks about how it was giving Hannah and the guest Jason back on Below Deck Med. Yes. And when what was it? Kate called that guy hot Jesus. It's just listen, people get caught up. We love it. Okay.
Yeah.
And Fraser says, yes, I don't know what the future is for Steven and I. But it's the first time I've had a crush on someone in a long time, and they've felt similarly toward me. It's quite exciting. I love it. Fraser up.
Yeah.
Fraser's
Yeah.
up.
Especially once they get to the bar. Because once they get to the bar, they just like they said the British say snogging, it's just full on make
They
out
could have
session the whole
taken their
time.
clothes off if I bet you the cameras weren't around.
Yeah, yeah. If this was more private, yeah, we would have seen it getting a little bit heavier. But they had their moment, and this is good because again, Fraser's been sitting around refereeing fights and and doing a whole bunch of other stuff.
Mhm.
Get relaxed. I think Fraser needed to release some energy because he's a little uptight right now in some other areas, and I'm not talking about that one. And so I just need him to go and just let off some steam. And then maybe you'll be a little bit more pleasant at work, if you know what I'm saying.
Last heads for you, last head for you.
Everybody just needs to take a break. Yeah.
And I love that Fraser's like, I'm literally obsessed with you. The thing is, that wouldn't work on me, but I know that it would work on men in that moment. When you're both like in that moment and the girl is like, I'm literally obsessed with you. And
Oh
then she's
yeah.
ready to make out. You know what I'm saying? I think it would.
Yeah. No, this is the greatest hits. Fraser's throw it in the game. You can tell. You can tell some of these moves he's making are tried and true. Because you're obsessed with me. I'm like, me takes off shirt.
That's what I'm saying. It's so easy, girls. Sunny. Stand up.
Sonny, learn from this.
Dylan is right there, babes. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my God. Whatever. Here we are. And then yeah, that's true too. Lolly also shares how Kate had no shame walking back to the boat next morning. And you shouldn't. It is not a what is it called? I don't even know what the name is. The morning after walk of shame.
Walk
It
of
is the walk of
shame.
pride.
Yeah.
Babes.
Walk of
Be
pride.
serious.
Yep. We witnessed one of those in New Orleans. You remember? Where my hug at? I was like, you do, and did, and won.
I said, give me the play-by-play. Are you married? Will it happen again tonight? No.
Right. No. That was a real one. Our girl held it down, okay? In New
City
Orleans,
girls were up that day,
City
baby.
girls were up. And you know what? Honestly, City boys was winning too. Go, you go off, King. Yeah.
No one knows what we're talking about. It's fine, y'all.
We know.
Let's just say things happen and it's very fun. Would
And me and
recommend.
Sasha are spectating the whole time. We're like, you see it?
I literally my thing is I have no shame. So
Mhm,
all what everyone wants to know, I will just ask. So I
mhm.
straight up was like thumbs up or thumbs down.
And we were
And
all
it
looking, and we got the thumbs up. We like, whew, okay, all right, we did it. We did it, Joe.
Oh my gosh, we're evil. But listen, I love love. Okay. I want all my friends to be hooking
Look,
up.
mhm.
Lust. Let's make it very clear. Because I don't care if you're married after, but I do want you to hook up because I'm bored. Anyway, like the Ariana Grande song, right? It was made for us.
Oh, break up with your boyfriend because I'm bored. I was like, that boredom do be striking.
That's what I'm saying. And then you do toxic shit
Yeah.
because you're bored.
And then you wake up and you're not bored no more. You're like, damn.
You're like, oh,
Oh,
okay, bye.
yeah.
All right, now let's get to the main event, the main fight, of course. Nick versus the stew versus the interior versus Paris. All right. So the high level thing is Nick's food is good. All right. Everyone, both charters are enjoying it. But you know, Fraser said, listen, the presentation is not working.
He said
And
it
then
was
he's like,
horrible.
yeah, he's so extra sometimes. And which is fine, right? I think like as a chief stew, he's well within his right to say something about it. But no, he says, "Hey, Paris, you I am giving you the invisible 7 stripes
Mhm.
and you are now going to, tell him how to put garnish on the plates and blah blah blah." Paris takes the baton and runs the full 4x4 by herself
Mhm.
because she is on that man's ass, Chappelle.
I got so annoyed with Paris throughout these 2 episodes. I'm talking about by the end, my notes are just like, Paris, bro, chill, get off his back, dog, leave him alone. And it is, ooh, I knew I was annoyed by this when it first started to happen, but by the second episode, by episode 15, I was literally like, Paris, if you have to be our next person getting fired, I'm sorry, but I would just need you from away from me because
Mhm.
I get it. Fraser gave you a task. And Paris, I think, handled herself really well when brought to the carpet about it. Captain Carey
Yeah.
says, what are you doing? Why are you all over it? Like, that is not your position. And she says, when the chief tells me to do something, I assume that him and the chef has talked about it. And so I thought I was moving within bounds. And so she survives. But
Mhm.
I was about fed up. And there was one point where Sheffy is cooking and she's over his shoulder being like, are you sure that's how you want to make the crepe? Like, are you sure? I said, ma'am, get the hell out.
Just
Do you
not
want to make the crepe?
literally okay. There's a way, right? Because the beach picnic, fine. She was like, Fraser told me that, it needs to be X, Y, and Z, and he's doing it A, B, and C way. Fine. But let him be. You were
Mm,
not, it is so obvious over and over again, over all of the below decks. And we know she's watched it because her ex-boyfriend was shit talking her on season 9.
mm,
So I don't understand what the tea is, why she can't figure out that he outranks her. So she should say it once, right? Hey, Fraser
mm,
said, this is how it's supposed to be. Kid, I help you make that
mm.
happen. If he says anything else, shut up.
Yeah. Because I found myself getting mad at Paris when in reality I should have been mad at Fraser.
Correct.
Fraser, you are not okay. Let's start over.
Yes.
Anthony is gone, babes. Let it go. He's gone. He's not here.
You snitched on
Okay.
Anthony. Hello?
You did snitch on Anthony. That's your boy. You did not. You could have had his back. You said he's not up to scratch. Cool. But now you on this chef's ass because you don't like the way he garnishes. You don't like the way he garnishes the food. Now, on the one hand, like you said, he's the chief stew. It makes sense for him to go in and say, all right,
Mhm.
I have to present this to the guests. I think it could look better because I want good tips. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to do the bare minimum. We want to go above and beyond. It's like if somebody gives you colorful pancakes, you say that ain't gay enough. You fix it up. That makes sense to me. But you do it once. And then
Yeah.
when Captain Carey tells you, hey, let the man cook, you literally let him cook. But at that point, Paris takes up the mantle and she's on him about drizzle on a plate, cucumber stars. Like, girl, get out of the way. The last chef couldn't even cut out a coherent meal without like with like everybody's dietary restrictions
And he's
taken into
arguing about
consideration.
foam. Oh, you gotta shake it a little bit more for the
You
foam
need a
to
little
come out.
more gas in there
He's
too.
the chef. Let it
22 years.
and listen, it's still she was not necessarily wrong. That's the joke
Mhm.
of it all. It's just at the end of the day, he is very much pulling and because he was really mean to her in confessionals, right? Like, "Girl, scrub toilets and let me cook."
Right.
And then even to and just talking about how he's so much older than her. He was cooking when she was in diapers, right? So it's just there's a lot of back and forth, and I just felt like she needed to take a break.
Yeah. She was just on him so much to where I'm like, y'all didn't when y'all's last chef was getting food out an hour late. We said this, Sasha. We said some of y'all could be in there helping clean up the kitchen while this is going on. Some of y'all can be in there like if y'all really want to help your boy Anthony out, yeah, it's not your job, but y'all are about to you're about to dive in and try to save this person's job, make yourself look good, get a good tip. Here, this chef says, I got it. He's not flustered. He's not behind schedule, and y'all up his ass. I said, "Oh no, oh this had got like I said, my annoyance started with Paris, and then it just shifted to Fraser. I'm like, this is your fault because you're like, I want to be able to help him. He's not asking for your help. The guests have not complained yet. They have
Yeah,
not complained. Not one person has said a negative. We have not heard one negative thing about the food. Not one thing from any of the guests.
and
Why
that's the
are you so
thing.
hell bent on?
If you don't like him, right, or what X, Y, and Z, like fill in the blank. If you don't blank, let him fail a little
Let
bit.
him fail. And he did that in a way. He's like, hey y'all, he gets all the stews together. He's like, hey,
Yeah,
if he puts out trash on a plate, serve it up. Just call it a day. Blah blah blah. But that's even the wrong attitude to have
correct.
because you're now painting the way the stools are looking at his presentation. All y'all got to do is take plate A to the table, and if they say this is bland. This don't have enough garnish on it. We're influencers. We want to take better pictures. Blah blah blah. But every time a table came to that, oh my god, it's so good. This food is so good. It's amazing. It looks so good. The chef is doing a bang up job. Blah blah blah. The thing that annoyed me the most about Paris was when they were on the beach and she
Mhm.
insists, like, hey, I don't want you creme brulee right now. We just got out. We're just barely getting the mains out. He says, cool. Well, I gotta go. So if you want it to wait, you have to do it. So
Yep.
she's like, fine, I'll take over. I got it. He's like, cool, I gotta go. She gets back to the boat after doing the creme brulees, and she's like, and then I had to do everything. Ma'am, you could have just let that man do what he was doing.
And it
That's it.
doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, it's again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the chef decides the timing, right? And of
Mhm.
course, you can be in conversation with people and with your stews and your interior team to say like are they still eating, right? If they're like, hey, they're still eating, fine. Then you pause and you're just like letting, okay, we'll slow things down. But
Mhm.
outside of that, I feel like the only issue has been that food takes too long.
Mhm.
So let him have stuff ready to go. I think we'll be okay. It's a beach picnic, dude.
Yeah, it was driving me crazy. And I think another
Mhm.
thing too is that maybe Anthony's plating was so extravagant that
Which
they're
it
so
was.
used to that.
Yeah.
Right. But I think they've gotten used to that and they're like,
Oh,
that's our new standard for the St. David, for the STDs. Like it's gotta be extravagant or we don't want it. And so it's like, okay, but this is also a different person. So they have a different style. So his plate's not gonna look like Anthony's plate. But what his plate is tasty, and nobody complaining about dietary restrictions, and it's on time. So if his is a little bit cleaner and more simplistic, it's fine. Because this little green drizzle that Paris was trying to get on the plate, it did nothing.
it looked horrible. Okay, like
Yeah.
what are you trying to do? It's just no one's getting extra points, right? For garnish or whatever. This is not like we're, on Tournament of Champions getting judged on presentation. I think it'll be okay. And listen, gotta go back again with an amazing point. Group of influencers were fine and they're taking pictures, right? I feel like they could have been like, tastes really good, but the pictures for our thing isn't so great. Or even if they did want to come off as bad and they thought the food was bad, they wouldn't have taken the pictures.
Right. You would have seen them be like, oh, this is bland. There's nothing to show here. But
Yeah.
they seem fine. The influencers know best because they're the ones who are literally caring the most about how this looks. But all of a sudden, in 7 episodes, 11
Mhm.
episodes, 13 episodes, we never hear them talk about, okay, what are we gonna do to help the chef out? They
Yep.
have to, we like force them in there, like, hey, bro, help him out. Everything's disorganized. Do something. Episode 14 and 15. Now it's Fraser's number one job to make sure the plate got some garnish on it. Can you put a little some tomatoes on there or something like that? Fraser, move, get out of the way, go, get, scram.
Seriously, like, move on. And Zen even says, right, in the chat, less is more, simple is a thing. Exactly, because we still have to get stuff out on time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are we forgetting that that was the biggest issue? Besides, no, that and of course, food allergies were the two biggest
Mm-hmm.
reasons why we're in this situation in the first place. So wake up, everyone. All right. And Anna also says, which I think is interesting, we might be missing some additional conversations between Chef and Paris because the tension seemed high. It just seems like he was like, this little girl, da da da, da, and
Right.
he is just not having it. And meanwhile, Paris is like, well, he's trying to act too much.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think it's like a lot of like a Cold War, where it's like they're both annoyed at each other, but they won't say it to each other. So they're like taking little jabs at each other. Because there was this one moment where Paris is venting to Ben, and Ben says, well, he's 40 working on a yacht. I'm like, is what is that supposed to mean? From when we get the confessionals from Sheffy, he's saying, no, this is perfect. All I gotta
Mhm.
do is wake up, cook. I get to see the world. I get to travel. I'm getting ready to maybe I could do this hours. I made more money than my dad was making in one day. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, this man seems to be doing fine. Leave him alone. It's just so
They
frustrating.
won't.
Leave him
That's the
alone.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And of course, that's where Captain Carey has now stepped in because after both charters, Carey first calls, after the first charter, Carey talks to Fraser, right? And Fraser's like, what's going on? Well, it's a whole new environment with Nick, right? Like, I'm just overwhelmed, but underwhelmed with this food. And, it feels like Carey says, you don't want to be as helpful as you were with Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
True. All things true. And they're just like, I don't think Fraser's wrong in that I don't think Chef is as welcome to what everyone else is saying. And he's kind of very much my way or the highway, but you just gotta get over it. Because it's such
Right.
an important position that you cannot afford to piss off the chef.
And it's a department of one. It
Yes.
does, Fraser, your opinion of the food does not matter. The guest's opinion of the food matters. The person making the food matters. So if the guests tell Fraser, hey, there's a problem, Fraser's job is to then go and report that back to the
Mhm.
chef. And then if the chef can't keep up, then he goes and talks to Captain about it. You just looking at it and being like, not good enough. And then having input and then being like, why won't he listen to me? You're not his boss.
Mhm.
You're not his boss. Um, so yeah, Captain Carey sits them both down. He says he bangs their heads together, but he's just like, communicate, communicate, communicate. Fraser, if you have an issue, let the
Which
man
is
cook.
true. Which is true.
Yeah. And honestly, Sheffy, if you are annoyed, say something. Say something. Don't just be like, well, F it, you do it your way, Paris, and then leave. Because at the end of the day, the chef stuff, the food stuff, it all falls back on you. So at least say, I stood up for myself. I told Paris to kick rocks, and I'll stand by whatever mistakes I may or may not make. But to just be like, okay, well, if you want to do this, fine, I gotta go. And yeah, so I don't know. It was tough to watch.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's a little bit at fault, but at the end of the day, I do think Chef comes out the cleanest out of all of
Mm,
this because he let them fail a little, I feel.
yeah.
And he was like, "Great,
Mhm.
Imma just let y'all fail, and that's fine for
We
me."
we'll do it however y'all want to do it with
Yeah,
y'all's
exactly.
one stripe. Like, why are you
Mhm.
talking to me? He's like 22 years. Imagine doing something for 22 years, Sasha, and then somebody shows up and they're just like, but couldn't you do it this way? Like, bruh,
Yep.
I heard you the first time. Leave me alone.
Yeah, and gotta go back says, right, like, Frasier always has to be mad at someone. There are people in the world that, like, need to have an enemy. Just
Or
that's just
something to
how it is.
fix.
Yes.
Yeah, they have to have something that they have to be able to like, oh no, I was a part of whatever this is. You gotta have a hand in something. Like I feel
Mhm.
like if there wasn't Sheffy, it'd be somebody else.
Yeah, 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 I agree. That's what so it's just that how him and Kyle, Nat, I feel like that it's a personality type. I still like
Mhm.
Frasier more. that's not,
Yeah.
you know, up for debate, but I still think that there is some kind of personality thing in that moment, and that's why it's just like not getting along. But either
Mhm.
way, I think it all's well that ends well, because we do get. I don't remember the tip from the first charter. Like I just didn't see it. And anyway, what it is. But for the second charter, we do get a $25,000 tip,
Yeah, the
which
first
is
charter was
crazy.
23,000.
Okay, it was? Okay, yeah,
Yeah, it was
I just missed
23, and
that.
then the
Yeah,
second one
thank
was
you.
25. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really great tips. Food must not have sucked. But listen, the flirting on both charters. Because how do you feel about our bestie Dylan?
Okay, Dylan, you have the opportunity to find someone who actually likes you, right? These girls seem like they're into him. He's very goofy. He's dancing. He's stripping. He's all that good stuff. But I do feel like Dylan might put his foot in his mouth. I think Dylan really needs to understand that,
Understatement. Yeah.
yeah, that throughout this season we've learned that Dylan, you're very attractive, but when you start to talk, it starts to repel people. So I think if Dylan just is the strong, silent type, let his abs speak for him. I think he's good with this. You know, I saw them where they probably exchanging Instagrams and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So he's making a move, and even he had to talk himself out of it. He's just like, you know what? It's a fireable fit. You know, you can tell that it's been rehearsed that they have to say, nope, sharing beds with somebody is a fireable offense. They've heard Captain Carey say it a billion times probably because they both, Fraser and Dylan, both use the same exact wording. It's a fireable offense. I cannot do this. So Dylan, at least it looks like he's winning right now.
Yeah, can I tell you what, Paris called Dylan, and you will never be able to look at him the same
Don't do this.
on Watch What Happens Live?
Okay.
She called him a grown-up Teletubby with abs.
Which Teletubby?
Tinky Winky, actually.
No, he could never. Poe.
Right, I was like, "That's mean."
Yeah,
Yeah,
Poe.
he's always and Poe.
Yeah, and Poe. He's Poe.
Oh my god. I laugh because I was like, "Actually, that's him, you're right." And that, like, he's so silly, and Zen right said Zen says, "Dylan is so cringe," but Cap says, "Listen, the girls were hot."
The girls were hot. That's what I said. I don't blame Dylan for, like, trying to entertain them, but he throws out like they're obviously into it, like, oh hey, what's your name? So, oh, I'm Dylan. Cool. It's like, you enjoying the STDs on the boat? And we're like, oh, okay. You can't
What is
just
the
pull that
reason?
joke out on everybody. That joke doesn't work all the time. You gotta work your way up to the STD joke. You can't just come out the gate with that.
And he's, like, awkwardly throwing, water on himself. I was just like, "This
Mhm.
is not cute." Like, just because
Yeah.
you have the Magic Mike body does not mean you have the
Mhm.
Magic Mike moves.
Yeah. See, God knew not to give me those abs because
That's
I'd
how
be a
I
menace.
feel.
I'd be a
I feel like
criminal.
God now knows to not let me lose the weight again.
Look, I
Yeah.
got the height eventually. It was cool. I was
Yeah,
like,
you're
bet
lucky
I
at
need
least.
this. But the abs don't ab like Dylan's abs do. And I'm like, if they did, oh yeah, I would just be laying out there just laying there, just naked, just oh yeah, this is my speedo. This is normal. I'm Ozzy.
I'm
It's cheeky.
cheeky. My cheek is
Right. Right. The cheeky is like this ass, like that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, that's why I couldn't do it. But he's talking himself way out of all his blessings, I will say. But this might be okay. This might be just like a nice little cool little fling with the hot guy from the boat. She might
I
she
hope
might
it
be into it.
happens. Shout out to Sarah because they were DMing and whatnot.
Ooh,
So maybe it's possible.
lovely.
We'll see. Because they only went bowling, so Sarah didn't join them for that. But I don't know if they're gonna do another, know,
Hmm.
another thing after with Sarah. But if so, I beg for Dylan to maybe hook up with one person so he stops being cringe to everyone
Get him
else.
somebody. Yeah, let's do this. So we can get Dylan somebody. We just got to get him to just reel it in. There's a lot that he's saying that he shouldn't say. We can see everybody's reaction to it, isn't? They're not loving
Yep.
it. So reel it in a little bit, and I think you're good. I think you can cook a little bit, Dylan.
Yeah, 100%. It just blesses his heart. And yeah, Lindsay also talks a really funny moment where Paris talks about on Watch What Happens Live. She's like, "So Andy, do y'all know what Teletubbies are?" And then she's like, well, maybe you don't have that. So maybe the Sesame Street character, he's Big Bird.
Not Big Bird. Big Bird with abs. That's a
Yeah,
funny sight
that's what,
to imagine.
I don't know why she kept going with yellow because Tinky Winky's also yellow, right?
No, Tinky Winky's the purple one.
Oh, purple. Well, of course you
Yeah,
like.
let me look at. Yeah, that's what we protect
Yeah,
Tinky Winky
yeah.
at all costs. Let me look at the Teletubbies real quick. Teletubbies.
Is Poe yellow? No.
Poe sounds like
I
Poe's the
beg.
red one. Lala
Oh,
is the
thank
yellow
God.
one.
Yes, because I was like,
Yeah,
Lala was my favorite, but I couldn't
yeah,
remember
Lala's the
Lala's
yellow.
name. Yellow was my favorite.
Yeah, Poe. Yeah, he's so Poe.
Yeah. I just feel like Tinky Winky. That's just not fair because that's the main.
Yeah, Tinky Winky's the
Tinky Winky
baddest.
was the first name, right? That they used to
Tinky Winky.
say.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Tinky Winky and Lala.
Look at us. Shout out to Dipsy. You out there too?
Oh my God. Oh, that was the third one.
The green one. Yeah. Look at us aging ourselves.
Yes. But yeah, so it was just, and Andy was like, no, I know what the Teletubbies are.
Like, ma'am, I didn't live under a rock.
The Teletubbies baby has a baby. Isn't that weird?
Right. Yeah, the baby from the
The
sun. I
sun,
heard
yeah.
that. Yeah. That's basically our niece / nephew, whatever that
Yeah.
child is. You know, like we raised that kid.
Oh, that's true. We do have Lala on Bravo. But listen, that Lala could never, okay? Absolutely never. But yes, that is kind of it, right? Chappelle, am I missing anything? I'm looking. Oh, I do
No.
have a game that they
Okay.
played, so we can play that. But is there anything from the episodes I missed? And let me know,
No.
chat.
I was gonna ask if
Also,
you bowl.
thank you, Kev. Yeah.
I was gonna ask if
Listen,
you bowl.
I like to bowl. I
Mhm.
will say that I'm not good at it, but
Yeah.
we all know that I'm still competitive. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to. I'm not competitive, so I don't like to bowl. I just like I will do it as long as everybody's not being competitive about it. Like, stop being mean about bowling, y'all. It's just bowling. It's dumb.
He's talking to me.
I'm talking to everybody who I've ever went bowling with, because I'm like, there's beer here, right? There's beer here, so I'm good. The
I
moment
mean,
the
well, I'm
beer
like,
starts,
beer
I'm like, yeah.
impairs your judgment. Stop
Right?
it.
Why would you drink if we need to win? Exactly. I'm not a bowler. Nah. What's the game, Sasha?
Oh, that's hard. Yes. So let's do this. Okay. So now, this is called Deal Breakers. That's what Andy was playing. So
Okay.
is this a deal breaker for you and your significant other? Best friends with their ex.
Deal breaker.
Ooh, Paris and Barbie said no, it's all good.
No, see, best friends is what gets me. Friends is fine. Friends is fine.
You don't need to be friends.
You don't need to be, but I
You
can
have
suffer
enough
through friends. Best friends, I should be your best friend.
Yeah.
I'm your best friend. That's how this works.
I agree. Baby talk.
Like that kind of no. Don't do that to me. I'm grown. I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah, at least it wasn't diaper play, but baby talks though. Hooked up with your friends.
No,
Like
deal breaker.
you
Boom.
or
Fire.
I was like, that one we talked about.
Yeah, red alert. Red alert. We're not doing that one. Sorry, off limits. Bye.
Flag on
Fun
the
knowing.
play. Skirt.
Yeah.
Cap.
Yeah. Nice knowing you. Yeah.
Poops with the door open.
Deal. What deal breaker, or can I stop them from doing? Like, if I told them, like, stop.
Oh, good job. You're a good person because it is
Right.
deal breaker.
Because I was about to say deal breaker, but then I was like, or can we just work? Can we please just not do that, please?
I just don't think I
Forever?
could come back from that.
Right, like the first time you see it, you're like, ah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
kilt or poop with door open. Kilt.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then extremely picky eater.
What? Who are me to judge? You know.
Exactly. Never wears deodorant.
Oh, deal breaker.
That's so gross.
Sorry.
And my nose,
sorry.
I feel like I really can smell everything. I'm a dog in that way. Like I chew bones when I eat like chicken, and I can smell really well. It's a no. And keeps eyes open while kissing. And Paris says, "Oh, sounds like Dylan."
Well, how do you know, Paris?
You know, every time he tries to kiss, he's like staring at you. So they said no, which I felt that their standards were really on the floor. But
yeah, I mean, keeps eyes open during kissing. That doesn't bother me.
That's crazy.
That doesn't bother me. My eyes gonna be closed, so I don't care that your eyes are open.
I can feel it.
Oh yeah, you're like,
I
wait,
just
what are
feel
you
like
looking at me
it's a
for?
little bit psychopath.
Like, stop looking at me.
Like, to just like, are you not into it?
Yeah. No, no. You can keep your eyes open. Again, my eyes gonna be closed, so I don't care. I don't know.
I am not a psychopath. Yeah. And this one was stupid. And I said, Andy, shut up. And it's a phone is still on the family plan.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. On the
Oh
one
no.
hand, as long as I ain't gotta pay for it, whatever. But on the other hand, I we need full control over our phone. We just do. I
Oh,
don't want to hear that your
yes.
family was like, oh, the phone's cut off because mom didn't pay the all right, cut it out. So
Okay,
I'm
that's
down to save
valid
money, but
because
I
I
need you to
am a free line on my in-law.
right. I'm like, look, as long as the conversation will not be disrupted due to your family not paying the bill, it should
Oh,
not bother me
valid,
at all.
valid. Yeah,
Right.
I'm just a free line on my in-laws, and I was like, I love that for me.
Right. Okay. Yeah. As long as it's not a problem. Like you and your in-laws get in a fight tomorrow and now I can't contact you. That's a
That's
problem.
real. Correct.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Listen, and Zen's door's still closed, married 35 years. Zen, are
That
the
part.
eyes closed?
Look, yeah, are the eyes closed or open, Zen? We need to
Yeah,
know.
Kevin
Yeah,
also
this
has the ick. I'm telling you. And then yeah, thank you. Big T gets me. Look super weird if both eyes are open. Big T, I just feel like if someone watches me and we're making out and they'll be like, "You're making out with the psycho, Sasha. Are you good?"
Mhm. I don't know. I don't know if that one bothers me at all. Like I said, my
If
eyes will be
I saw
closed.
you kissing someone and their eyes were open, I would have been like, "They're not into you. Like you can't kiss
Right.
them
Like
anymore."
what is their mind on if their eyes are
Yeah,
open, they obviously got eyes for somebody else.
that's what I'm saying. Like, are they being like, "Who's watching me?"
Right.
But yes, that is it. Those are the deal breakers.
I like
Oh
this
my
game.
gosh. Yeah. And another thing for Watch What Happens Live was Paris doesn't follow Nick, but everyone else on social media. And Andy was giving her a hard time a little bit. And it's funny because she still follows Jake, again from season 9, the bosun, who said he was non-monogamous. They were non-monogamous. Meanwhile, they're in a relationship. And that she wanted a UK passport. And that's the only reason
Ooh.
she was with him. So she called him a tosser. And even then they follow each other. So she's like, yeah, imagine the standards are on the floor of who I
Oh,
follow.
so she hates Nick. She hates Nick. Get over it. It's only one more charter. It's
Mhm.
about done.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
And they did a below deck trivia and Barbie ate everyone up.
Of
She was
course.
like answering before the multiple choice questions even came.
Yeah. I would lose at that, but you would be amazing.
No, it was almost everything we covered, I think.
Mm.
So it was like, what's Culver's personality, Keith Stone or whatever else. So
Mm.
yeah, you would know enough.
Okay.
Or you would get like stuck in a pool of Jill Zarins, like a sea, and it just kept like it's really funny. The screen just kept filling up with more and more of her face. So funny. But yes, this was a really fun Watch What Happens Live. I will say, I think Barbie's parents made it like even more exciting to watch. But that is it, Chappelle. Is there anything else? Oh, and Anna did share something that I wanted to talk about when we were talking about Below Deck. That according to Anne, and the assistant from Vanderpump's Rules, Watch What Happens Live doesn't cover bartender travel. That's
Oh,
ridiculous.
look, we can get ourselves to Watch What Happens Live. No worries. That matter
We
of
can
fact, if
get it
that'll sweeten the
covered.
pot,
Don't worry.
yeah, we'll get the Daddy Network to cover our flights and we'll be there. So if that's all it takes, let me just
Mhm.
talk to Andy for a little bit. I'm gonna send my people
Yeah.
gonna contact the people at Bravo. We're gonna see where we can watch what happened.
Period. Because imagine us. They would have to put me on a stool though to stand by you.
It would be so funny.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I just like we'd be great bartenders. So that's a petition we should start. Because
Hmm.
everyone is promoting their podcast. So I'm like, well, we got 10 to promote.
Yeah, just saying.
Yes. But yes, if there's nothing else, y'all, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, of course, always to the Peanut Galley for always riding with us. We missed you. So we're glad to be back. If you're enjoying this, leave us a like on this YouTube channel and this YouTube video. If you're listening to us on the Bravo TV Wrap Ups feed, make sure you're leaving us a 5-star 5-star only reviews so more people can find us. All right. A new
Mhm.
season is coming out. The trailer's out. Asia is very much in it. We are so excited. And with that, you can follow me on Twitter at funsize_04. I also cover a pop culture, celebrity gossip, a vibes only podcast with Kirsten McKennis called Mess Magnets. You can check that out on Rob has a website.com/messfeed. Chappell and I are talking Martha's Summer House, Martha's Vineyard over on Recap Kickback. And for everything else, you'll find me on Twitter. What about you, Chappell?
I'm covering the Black Twitter Hulu documentary this week on Recap Kickback. So go to recapkickback.com/subscribe to keep up with all of that. And then, of course, shoot me some subscriptions on Recap Kickback's YouTube page, youtube.com/@recapkickback. Because I'm creeping up on 1,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. I'm at like 900-ish. So if you're listening to this and you still haven't hit the subscribe button, go do me a favor, Peanut Gallery. Turn me up. Aside from that, catch me on RHAP in all the various locations, and then follow me on Twitter and all other social media platforms at Recap Kickback.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Bye.